Welcome to Inside the Film Room. I'm Kristen Ergel alongside head football coach Will Healey. The Governors defeated Tennessee State in a fourth quarter thriller. Coach, what does a win like that do for your football team?
Well, we talked about it this morning as a team in our team meeting, and the crazy part about the 4 wins that we've had is we've done it in so many different ways. And I thought Saturday was huge, learning how to come back and win a game. So you win the game offensively in 2-minute mode, and then you secure the game in the defensive 2-minute mode. You know, it's almost the exact same situation, exact same yard line, exact same time left in the game as what happened a year ago. And to watch our kids' confidence level in that situation versus where it was a year ago, I think shows the growth and maturity of your football team. And you give credit to those kids. They played so hard. You know, there's still so many things that we've got to shore up on, and we've got to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot like we did a couple times on Saturday. But we just battled. We felt confident the entire game. Our kids never wavered, and it was a really fun experience for us. It's great because we've talked about it early on in the year. You want to be playing in meaningful games in late October, early November, and our kids have put themselves in a situation where that's happening.
Each side of the ball needs that defining moment. You kind of touched about it there. They build that confidence and draw from something the rest of the year. Trailing 17-14, 2:41 to go. You put the game in the hands of a freshman quarterback, Jeremiah Oatsfall, then run a 2-minute offense running the football. How significant was that drive?
Well, that whole thing. So you're up 14-3. You put them in the game. We make an uncharacteristic decision by him, and we throw a pick. So you're driving the football to go try to make it 21-3, and the ball game's over. So you learn from that experience. Then you come back. They make some big plays. All the momentum of the world's on their side. Tiny creates probably the biggest play of the game with his punt return. So you got the ball at midfield with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and you're putting a freshman quarterback and a freshman tailback in the game, with a lot of other freshmen around them. Right. And I looked at him on the sidelines, and he kind of looked at me and was like, "You've seen this before, hadn't you?" And it's why you recruited him. I mean, we're in such a great position offensively because we feel like we have 3 quarterbacks that we can put the ball in the hands of any of them as time's expiring, and we feel great about their opportunity to lead our football team down the field. And he just went out and played backyard football like he does every single day, and made a huge run. I gave him a little bit of trash talk because he didn't score a touchdown, but we converted a big 3rd down on that drive, big run by Ahmad, freshman tailback, and then you got a freshman quarterback that scampers for 35 yards and sets us up with 1st and goal on the 1. So big drive. But again, I felt really good about that drive because I saw those kids, the look in their eye. They knew they were going to go score. And Tiny created that with his return. And then they go execute, and then the defense steps on the field, and there was no way that we were going to give anything up.
You mentioned that defensively. The word redemption keeps coming to my head. Almost the same scenario with this team last year. It wasn't just that last drive, though, to preserve the game. They also made some other crucial stops in the fourth quarter. The final 3 drives, they only surrendered 4 yards.
I thought we rushed the passer really well. Jason Williams played exceptionally well. I think that we obviously gave up the big play, which I think they're a very dynamic offense, and you run that risk every time you line up with them. But we didn't lose our confidence. We came back. We battled. We just played so hard on defense on Saturday. You take away the 65-yard gain there, and they're probably under 300 yards. Unfortunately for us, you can't take big plays out of statistics, so they still count. But I thought they played really hard. I thought they played together, and they came up with some crucial stops. To start the game was the way we did. With the sack fumble and the recovery by Nate, that's the momentum that we needed early on, and then we go get 7 points, it's 7-0, and we started the way we want to.
You always talk about special teams when I ask you about keys to the game at the end of our show every week. What did they do on special teams this past Saturday that truly was game-changing?
We flipped the field on punt. Besides the first one, I thought Devin punted the ball exceptionally well. I thought covered okay on kickoff. We got to get that swagger back on that unit. We at one point in time we were top 5 in the country. We got to get back there. We can't let our confidence waver on that aspect. I thought punt return, we finally created a dynamic play with really good players on that unit. So that was a game changer. We were much better. We gave much better effort on kickoff return. So that was the hidden yardage. Probably over 150 yards, hidden yards there that we had not been able to get. That we were, Tiny's big return on kickoff and had a couple others that were 30, 35 yard line, where a week ago you were starting inside the 15, so and then the punt return to midfield was probably the difference in the game. So very proud of those return units and thought we punted the ball well to flip the field.
Well, you're 3-1 in conference play. You've now won more games this season than the Governors have in the past 5 seasons combined. You're 2-0 in the race for the Sergeant York Trophy. What do these stats say to you?
Well, it says so much about the belief that the assistant coaches and the kids had in what was going on. Saturday was special to me just because I felt like that group is really tight. They believe in the culture that we've set. They do everything we ask for them to do. And to be rewarded on homecoming at their place in a really great environment. That's a fun place for our guys to go play. I think, one, it separates you from any negativity that's happened with this program in the past. This is a total different program. This is a total different football team. But it is fulfilling, I think, for our kids to know that they're the reason why it has changed. And we take a lot of pride in that. We try to break, every streak, every negative streak that's ever happened here. And we, glad that you'll probably never have to talk about those streaks happening again. So our administration has been unbelievable. They've given us the opportunity to get to this point. The assistant coaches, I've never been around better in my life, and the kids have executed really well and bought in when there was no sign of evidence that it would change.
Coming up is the Fuse Fireworks Assistant Coaches Corner. We go 101 with Sean Dawkins. Welcome back. It's the Fuse Fireworks Assistant Coaches Corner. I'm with running backs coach Sean Dawkins. Coach, you played running back at Troy and helped your team win 2 conference titles. You've done exactly what you're trying to get this room of guys to do. How do you draw from experiences like that?
Just going back to pretty much what you've been coached to do. One thing about football, it hadn't changed from when I played, even though I'm not an old coach or anything like that. The game hasn't changed. So, it's very easy for me to share my experience with these guys and, where it's all relative and give them to play good football.
Now, you've shaped some young men at a fellow OVC school. You've had multiple all-conference running backs. What's something you focus on when you're coaching those guys?
Just relationships. It's all about relationships in recruiting, and even once you get those guys on campus, you gotta develop a relationship with those guys, and they gotta trust you. They gotta believe in what you're telling them to do, and you gotta find special ways to motivate those guys. And I feel like we've done a good job of doing that.
Well, you have quite the position group to work with. Kentel Williams, Ahmad Tanner, Trey Nation, Prince Mamadou. All of them are very capable.
Mm-hmm.
What do each of them do that makes them unique?
That's the best thing about all 4 of them. They are all different. Kentel, he can do many things. He's really good in space, really good on the perimeter. Even when it comes to some of our inside runs, he can run inside zone pretty well, outside zone pretty well. He has good vision, good patience to do all of those things. And again, he's our best space guy. He doesn't panic when he gets in space, and he can turn good plays into big plays. Really great plays. Ahmad, he's a good mix. He does a good job. He catches the ball very well out of the backfield. I feel like he's probably one of the toughest runners that we have. He does a really good job just with his pad level, getting square to the line of scrimmage, running with leverage, which is really huge. And that's why he does a really good job of just falling forward, getting all the yards. Something that I talk a lot about. So Prince, very similar as well to Ahmad. He's a bigger back, does a really good job of getting tough yards. Prince is the kind of player that you really want in your program. He's very unselfish, and he does whatever he can to help the football team. Right now my room is really competitive. I got 4 guys that can play football, and it's only one football to go around. So he accepts his role, man, and he does a great job, gives 100%. So love Prince. And Trey, he's a combination of Ahmad and Prince. I feel like he does a good bit of everything. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He runs hard. He's a bigger back, so he's a hard tackle. Just does a great job of pretty much understanding the scheme is what we do in the backfield too. So, and I'm pretty sure you get a lot of that from all the places he's been. But all those guys very different, but run hard and play hard.
Seems like a fun group to coach. Now, what made you decide to become a coach, and how did you get into coaching?
Pretty much what decided to make me be a coach. Coach Brooks back home, he was my running backs coach in high school, and he was just very influential to me. I believed in him, looked up to him. I used to come home to his house, on Thursdays. We used to all go over to his house, very similar to how Coach Urkel does with the offensive linemen. We used to always eat over there, but he believed in me at times. I didn't too much believe in myself, and he kind of just empowered me to do the things that I wanted to do. And just being around him and the belief he had in me just inspired me to be a coach and help to motivate others. Other guys familiar to my situation. So.
Now, you coached against Austin Peay last year. What made you decide to be a part of this program?
Coach Healey. He and I worked together at Chattanooga. I believed in him. I knew he was a great guy, great person, and he works hard. And I knew he did a great job just hiring the guys, hiring the right guys, and I just really wanted to be a part of it. I knew a lot of the guys, Coop, Marcus, those guys, we were all together at Chattanooga, and I knew their work, and they were all good, really good coaches. And again, I knew Coach he was going to do a great job assembling the staff, and I just believed in him, believed in his vision and everything he'd been preaching. And I knew he was working hard for it. And I had been, even at Murray, I was following him, and his first year of coaching right there. So it was really an easy decision for me. It really was.
It's been a good one. I know they appreciate having you here. All right,
Yes.
Coming up, Bojangles Player Spotlight this week. It's Kyle Anderton. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Bojangles Player Spotlight. I'm standing next to offensive lineman Kyle Anderton. Kyle, games like the one on Saturday night, that has to be one of the reasons that you play football. Walk me through that fourth quarter comeback.
It's absolutely one of the reasons I came here to play football, especially when in a Nissan Stadium, being 1-0. That's something not a lot of people can say. But we had a great punt return from Tiny. He gave us real good field position. And then when you get that good field position, and the way our team's built, we want to pound it, we want to run it. And being able to go, I believe it was 5 rushing plays in a row and get a touchdown to seal the game, to take the lead back. It just talks about how tough our offensive line is, how tough our receivers are blocking on the edge, and just our running backs are running really hard right now. So it really drives us to block really well for them.
Now, I do have to ask you about the Governor's first down of the game. It came off an unusual play, 10 offensive linemen in there at one time. The media's calling it double stuffed. Where did this play come from? And you have to love running it as an offensive lineman.
We do. That takes everybody off the bench. It puts it literally on our hands. I believe our offensive line coach, Coach Urkel's been pushing for it, and he finally got it. And we're athletic enough to do it. Usually they'll tighten the box and they'll put everybody on there to stop it. But with us, how good we're playing right now, nobody can really stop it. So it's really fun to just have all your buddies out there on the field at the same time.
Did you guys laugh when it went in? Did you know, this is going to be fun?
Well, yeah, we did. We were like, oh, shoot, look at us all. And some of us make jokes, oh, can you hear the ground rumble? Way on there. But it's a lot of fun just being able to have the whole group just out there on the field.
Talking about the O-line, you made the change from tight end to left tackle. How has that transition been?
It's not really hard. I mean, I believe I caught one pass at Vanderbilt. It's a touchdown, but I didn't catch too many balls. I mean, I did in practice, so it's not too much of a difference. My vision from where I was at tight end to tackle is just one spot over, so I'm not really seeing too many of different things. And it hasn't been really that bad. Footwork, I mean, we've talked about some footwork stuff with Coach Urkel and everybody, and it's not really too much different. So it's been a pretty easy transition.
Now, both of your parents are coaches. Your mom coaches volleyball right now. Your dad coached on the collegiate level and actually coached you in high school.
Yes,
how have their careers influenced you today?
Oh, I mean, being around the field and being around the courts and everything really taught me just to love it. I mean, a lot of people say they get burnt out on it. I never got burnt out on it. I actually want to be a coach just because I've seen what they've done in players' eyes. My mom, when she coached basketball, we would have some of her players babysit me and my brother. And just being around those girls, and then my dad being a football coach and being around those men and how you can directly affect somebody really pushed me to be a coach. And then just being around them, I was a clipboard manager for my mom in basketball, so I'd see what plays she was drawing up. So that really interests me in the X's, O's of the games. And so that's really pushed me to be a coach, and I feel very, very firm about being one.
You were a highly touted recruit coming out of station camp. You played quarterback, led your team to 3 state playoff appearances. You signed with Vanderbilt, 2 seasons there. How did you land at Austin Peay?
My brother's at Chattanooga. My mom's close to Chattanooga. So I'm like, Coach Healey's really going to have to knock it out of the park. And I went up there, debated, came back up for practice, I think 2 weeks later, and just felt something said, hey, go to Austin Peay. It's the right choice. May not know why right now, but just go to Austin Peay. And I did, and I've absolutely fell in love with it and haven't looked back since.
Now, you've been a part of the SEC program. You can really provide perspective for your fellow teammates, rather. At the end of the game, you shared something from the heart in the locker room. Can you describe what's special, what's happening right now with Governor football?
In today's society, where a lot of it's selfishness, it's just a new group of people that are growing up. And when you come and you're a part of a team that overcomes a fourth quarter deficit, who has a big stage at Nissan Stadium and just pushes everything out and just focuses on the game and focuses on one another, I mean, it really just gets you going. It makes you want to play. I've been a part of teams that are about themselves. I've been a part of teams that are about each other. And this one, right now, it's all about each other. And it's just really fun to be a part of.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Coming up, Coach Healey previews Southeast Missouri. Stay with us. We're back on Inside the Film Room. We just spoke with left tackle Kyle Anderton. You finished your post-game comments after the game Saturday with your team. Kyle raises his hand and addresses the team. What was your reaction?
So rewarding when you have kids in your program that are so excited that they picked Austin Peay. And I think our staff, all we want to do is make sure that every kid that picks Austin Peay says it's the best decision I've ever made for college. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. And we had to fight hard for Kyle. And he, we knew how talented he was. We recruited him as a tight end. And then he comes in at 295 pounds, and we're saying, why are you trying to do this to us? Are you telling us you want to play offensive tackle? And the transition he's made has been unbelievable. He is, in 6 months, he has been a tremendous team player. He's been all about this team. Even though he didn't go through some of the hardships that those kids went through a year ago, he's still fit in, and those kids have brought him in, and he's been a huge part of this culture. But just, I mean, that's what I live for, you know, that a kid says, Coach, I made the right decision by coming to play football at Austin Peay. Not just because we were winning football games, not just because you're giving this to me, but because of this culture and because of what type of people you have in this room. I don't want to be anywhere else. And that was as rewarding for me as winning the football game.
It's special. Now this Saturday, it's homecoming. You host Southeast Missouri. The Red Hawks are coming off back-to-back wins and held their last OVC opponent without a touchdown. When you see them on film, what stands out?
I think they're really well coached. They got after us as much as anybody got after us a year ago. They out-physicaled us, and they ran away with it. We really weren't competitive. I think they've got really good size. They've got they got good length. They've got a difficult defensive scheme to prepare for. Offensively, they're physical. They're big up front. They've got a really good change of pace with their 2 running backs. Their quarterback can throw the ball and put you in some difficult positions with some weapons at wideout. And they add their tight end in it, who's a big target that's really good attached to the line of scrimmage. And they're extremely they're very productive on special teams too. They flip the field. They win with field position. They don't turn the ball over. They don't hurt themselves. They're disciplined. They're well coached, and it will be a physical football game.
What do the Govs need to do on Saturday to pick up that 5th win of the season?
Well, I think the turnover margin will be big, and the field position battle will be really big. We got to make them drive the length of the field. When you go back and you look at their games, you know, they've won their last 2. They beat really good Tennessee Tech team and really good Eastern Kentucky team. You know, they had shots. I think they got beat 19-16 to Eastern Illinois. They played Kansas really well. they're talented, and you knew that it would just be a matter of time before they'd be back in the thick of it. So they're 2-1 in the conference. They've won the games that they've needed to, and we've got to win the turnover battle. We got to win the field position battle. I think we have to match and surpass their physicality, because they build that program around physical, disciplined, and we've got to make sure that we rally to the football. Their back, I think, is a really good player that can be dynamic in space. When you look at the game last year, we were okay on third down, but they were so good on first down. They were taking shots, play action pass, beating us down the field. We didn't tackle very well. We've got to be great on first down, force them into third and long situations, and then win the field position battle. So big football game.
Right.
We're 3-1 in the conference. They're 2-1 in the conference. We're all right in the thick of it. I have a lot of respect for how they do things. I know that they'll be well prepared, and we laid an egg the last time we were at home. I want to play well at home with the same amount of energy and enthusiasm we played this last week. I want it to be an unbelievable crowd. We should have 10,000 people at this game and break another attendance record and make it a tremendous home field advantage. So I can't wait to be back at home and put on a better show this week.
You guys dug deep last week. I know they are ready to play in front of Gov Nation. What part can fans play on Saturday as your team looks to pick up their fourth conference win, the most since 2007?
Well, I think you look at the first two home games we had with Moorhead and with Martin, and it was a huge part in the excitement and the energy that our kids had on the field. We've got to make sure that we have some early success where we get the fans into it and we get them on their feet a little bit. But I think I'm all about energy, enthusiasm, and passion. And the more energetic and enthusiastic our fans are, it helps our kids sustain that throughout a game. So it shows them that people care about what they're doing. I think it shows other teams around this conference that, oh goodness, look at what Austin Peay's doing. It's huge for recruiting. When we'll have 100 to 150 recruits on campus on Saturday, it shows those recruits too that this place is energetic about what's going on, and this is a place I would like to be.
All right, Governor Nation, make sure you show up early. Gov Walk, it's 2.5 hours before the 4 o'clock kickoff. And follow us on our social media sites for updates and post-game coverage at Let's Go Peay. Thank you so much for watching Inside the Film Room with Coach Will Healey. I'm Kristen Ergel. We'll see you next time.